Ladies and gentlemen, we are live. Welcome to the Ango show. Thank you so much for stopping by. Ladies and gentlemen, we are live. Welcome. You guys hear that echo? Oh, thank you so much for stopping by. The reason for that is because we are live on TikTok. We're multi-streaming. It sounds like we got it working, Billy.
Yeah, that's what it looks like, brother.
It looks like we got it working. Ladies and gentlemen, we are experimenting with new software and new stuff, and it's going to look a little different. Every couple of days, I'm going to be toying around with the stream, trying to make sure it works and all that good stuff. But quite frankly, we want to elevate the show. We want to do big things with the show and change the show and make it more interactive. We have an events thing as well. So every time we have a new subscriber, every time there's a super chat or something that should populate, which will be really cool. And then, of course, obviously on the Ango show, we talk about professional wrestling. Obviously, last night was a big episode of Raw. So not only am I talking about wrestling, but now I got to produce this whole live show, Billy. This is crazy.
Yeah.
We're gonna figure out ways to make it bigger and better every single time, and eventually we'll find things. Now, what is really interesting is that there is this opportunity that we have where we can throw up the chat, and we are going to do that. So we're just gonna do a quick little test and see how it works. Let's see.
Oh, yeah, I'm seeing them pop up.
So now I gotta just move that. And oh, dude, this is better than paying for that other software, you know? So
you know what I'm saying?
So let's see. Chat pin. Chat. Okay, hold on, because I don't want that one. Sorry, guys. This is experimenting. This is what happens when you experiment. We don't have production meetings like AEW. Oh, wait. They don't have one either.
Oh, my jeez.
I'm so funny, bro. I know. I get it.
You gotta calm down, brother.
Yeah, so it looks like it works. Laws, shout out to you. You got the first chat ever on the stream. So obviously when super chats come in, guys, just like normal, we'll pull those up, and then obviously we're live on YouTube and we're live on TikTok, we're live on Billy's channel. And I'm not going live on X today, but that is just because last time we tried multi-streaming, for some reason there was issues. So far, right now, as it stands, it says zero drop frames. So in the event that the stream isn't working well or something, please let us know. And I would greatly appreciate it. Thank you, guys. Billy, last night was WWE Raw. We saw the return of Roman Reigns. Obviously, it was an interesting episode of Raw for a variety of reasons, but I'm really just curious your overall outlook on what we saw. Did you enjoy the show? Did you not enjoy the show? What were some of your takeaways? What were you thinking?
So overall, I'm going to be quite honest here. I thought the show up until the steel cage match was kind of not for me. It wasn't, I wasn't all for it. It felt like just one of those shows where it was like, all right, we're just kind of pushing through. Obviously, we know next week what we're going to see, and that's going to be a big deal. But it just felt like, again, one of those coasting shows, getting stories, moving them along, progressing. It just felt a little bit slower. The Io Sky, Bianca, Rhea Ripley thing was really cool. But other than that, I wasn't really too crazy about the show overall.
Yeah, I agree. Like, I felt like it was... I feel like it was good. Like, it was solid. It wasn't great.
That's exactly how I'm feeling.
Definitely progression, though. Definitely progression. And then obviously we saw the progression of the Chad Gable thing. We finally got the thing with Chad Gable. Billy, what was the one thing we were saying we hope it's not gonna be?
Don't put him in a mask.
Don't put him in a mask. And then what happened, buddy?
They put him in a damn mask.
They put him in a freaking mask.
How you like that? They put him in a mask. Yeah. That was an interesting idea. But then they did that backstage segment.
Yeah.
And how they're like playing it a little bit. Like, oh no, that wasn't me.
Part of me thought it was a rib, I swear.
So did I, dude. I was like, dude, get out of here.
So really quick with the super chats, I don't know how to change the volume on that. So if it blew out your eardrums, my apologies. Still working on it. Gonna get it right eventually. Tolino Channel kicking things off today with a super chat. 200 rupees. He says, Rhea Bianca EO segment was like two cats fighting for small mice. EO slap to both was spot on. Hey, I'm the champ. Now the women's division has a top title pick in blood feud with between Jade and Naomi. You know, Tolino Channel, first of all, thank you for your super chat. Appreciate you, brother. I want to make this very, very clear because I think this is such a great thing, right? When you get an episode like we saw with Raw, where it's not like banger after banger or like this massive, massive show, they still found a way. I don't know if I can mute it, so my apologies, guys. Still working out the kinks. But the good thing is it looks like we're working. It looks like it's working.
Right. That's what it seemed like.
Yeah, but when you get a show like what we got yesterday, I think the biggest thing that people just really need to understand, honestly, is the fact that you got to progress stories and make stories feel important. At least there's got to be follow-up, right? So like at least what I appreciate about WWE so much is that there's been so much follow-up. We got to follow up with the Chad Gable situation. We obviously got to follow up with the Rhea and Bianca and EO thing. And what I loved about when she slapped both women, to me, it wasn't, oh, I'm just the champ. It's put some fucking respect on my name, bro. It felt like that kind of thing, right?
Yeah, dude. And how behind the crowd got with EO, dude, outstanding. Uh-oh. Is it muted?
It's just the music. We're getting interrupted by music. I'll have to figure that out. I don't know how to figure that out, but I will figure that out at some point.
What sucks is I can't hear it.
Yeah.
So I don't know when they're coming.
And guys, by the way, Billy actually can't see me. In order to make this work, Billy can't see me. So
no, I'm watching on YouTube, like live with you guys.
It's so funny. How is it working good though? It seems like it's working.
Yeah, it looks like it's working fine.
And then eventually I'll have like a better design and we'll make it all cool and snazzy and, you know, interactive and everything. But definitely want to try something different. So what I will say is this though, not to cut you off, Billy. Obviously, it's a little chaotic today, but that's Roman Reigns' fault. Right. He started the chaos yesterday. It just felt like EO felt like a legitimate champion, not like the feud. You know how I told you before, like, oh, I really want Bianca and Rhea to have that singles match main event type thing. To me, this was EO Sky being like, hey, you guys can't forget about me. And
she's a dog, dude. The crowd got behind her. I absolutely love it. Oh my goodness.
So funny. This is great. I love it. This is going to be a great live stream experience. Trust me, the Ango show is literally going to change the world.
We're going to figure this out, dude. Once we figure this out, it's over for everybody.
Yeah. Yeah. Shout out to Tolino Channel for that super chat. David Primero dropped to $4.99. Hey, what do you think of a three-way ladder match between Seth, Roman, and CM Punk? Winner receives the service of Paul Heyman with a case hanging on the top. No, listen, I don't want to see a three-way ladder match because I genuinely believe, and this is really going to be the most insane prediction. So if I'm going to be honest with everybody watching the Ango show live, David's super chat is, what do you think of a three-way ladder match between Seth, Roman versus Punk? Winner receives the service of Paul Heyman. David, I love the super chat and I appreciate the creative thinking and everything. However, I'm going to disagree entirely. This triple threat match to me has one thing that needs to happen, and it's a massive, massive swerve. And there's one guy, and I think this will literally change the landscape of pro wrestling in 2025. It will change the landscape for WWE. And I know WWE keeps telling us we're not going to see what's coming. There's a lot of swerves and stuff. Listen, it's not going to be a ladder match. It's going to be a standard triple threat match. But I am boldly predicting that we have a new Paul Heyman guy by the end of night one WrestleMania, solidifying a very shocking heel turn. And it's not Punk and it's not Roman. I have been dying for a Seth Rollins heel turn. I have been dying for it. And I think between CM Punk and Roman Reigns, there's so much storytelling between all three of these guys. There's a couple singles matches and things. I am saying this right now. Forget about a ladder match for the services of Paul Heyman. WWE has to do this the right way. And the way that they're going to do it is Paul Heyman says, fuck your favor to CM Punk and fuck Roman Reigns. And he starts a new alliance with Seth Rollins. And I think Seth Rollins actually should walk out of WrestleMania as the winner with this major swerve. Then you build your singles matches between Seth and Roman. Then you revisit CM Punk and Seth later down the line. And then obviously you have Punk and Roman doing a singles feud as well. So Rollins and Roman, Punk and Roman, Punk and Rollins. But Paul Heyman basically screwing over Punk and Roman and joining Seth would be absolutely massive. And this is why I love fantasy booking, because I don't think people understand that like something like this could actually happen.
Yeah, I gotta take a second and kind of process that, because I don't hate that prediction. I actually think that just kind of would solidify that WWE is no longer predictable.
Yeah.
In my eyes, that because the prediction obviously here is it's simple. It's CM Punk potentially joining Paul Heyman. I think that's the easy, bold prediction that everybody is going to try and make. But no, dude, whoa. I need a second to like process that, because that's not a bad take at all.
So the thing that you got to remember though too is who is the one guy that desperately needs a character change?
That's Rollins. We've talked about it.
You know, and now there's talks of Paul Heyman mentoring Braun Breaker behind the scenes.
Well, that's who I was going to say. Like, if you want to get Braun Breaker involved later down the line with Paul Heyman, I think that wouldn't be a bad idea. But if, again, I don't know how much we can talk about factions and how those works. But if you want to give Seth Rollins some muscle, Braun Breaker is a hell of a guy to give him.
Yeah, I'm just saying, let's have fun. IWC, let's not get salty here. I'm just saying it's a very fun idea that can absolutely swerve everybody, because the focus is on Punk in his favor. The focus is on Roman and going after these guys. And man, Seth Rollins, like people don't realize, like he is the reason why for over 10 years, him and Roman have had this amazing storyline, this amazing connection. Imagine the kind of swerve it would be if Seth Rollins took not only Roman Reigns back, you know, he stabbed him in the back, he nailed him with a chair, but now he took Paul Heyman. Literally, this is the guy who keeps annoying the shit out of Roman Reigns. Like, it's just never ending. And the thing is, if you look at it from how it started, it was all due to Seth making that decision. So why not run with it and go even further with him being a Paul Heyman guy? I think it's a wonderful idea. Billy, you kind of like it too. So
yeah, dude, I'm actually like a really big fan of that. I don't hate that idea at all.
Yeah.
Like I said, I just kind of I'll come back to you tomorrow with that. We'll talk about it a little bit tomorrow, and I'll come back and give you my like actual thoughts.
For sure.
Because that's a bold prediction.
It is a bold prediction. It's a crazy prediction, but
I will say I do enjoy it.
The beauty of that kind of prediction, though, is that it's like really just thinking differently. You know what I mean?
That's very outside of the box.
And listen, WWE is all about the swerves. I can see it happening.
Facts. I agree.
Really, just a quick shout out to we'll get through these super chats, but shout out to everybody watching on TikTok. Honestly, guys, I appreciate it. You know, we're gonna start trying to build up the TikTok and socials again, and I see you guys coming in and you guys are liking it, and do you hear the music on the stream?
Bro, no, I have the stream muted.
Do you guys hear the music on the stream when the alerts come in? Yeah, so you guys do hear it because somebody said, what the fuck is that noise? Guys, I'm sorry. We're you know, there's a way to fix it, but then I got to mute Billy, I think, is the issue, so I'll figure it out. Guys, shout out to Tolino Channel coming through with another super chat. Chado Americana El Gablo is WWE bound.
Jesus.
Oh, gracias. Instead of the thank you, he hits the gracias.
That shit was so funny.
You know, the thing is, man, Billy, personally speaking, when I see Chad Gable go out there with a mask, because we talked about it, like we didn't want it to be a mask. I like the way I feel like they just kind of ribbed the fans, right?
Oh, for sure. For sure.
So obviously it does feel like to a certain extent it was a rib to the fans, but it's going to progress. I genuinely think now the move is Rey Mysterio, Lucha Bros versus Chad Gable and American Made.
Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't hate that. People are saying that I'm allowed.
You're allowed?
Yeah, and then you're low.
I'm low?
Yeah. And then everybody's saying, yeah, it's loud.
Okay, give me 1 second. Let me mute my mic. Let me listen.
Yeah, for sure. Am I super loud? Am I popping? Big popping.
I'm not hearing that on my end. I hear that our levels are good. Yeah.
Okay.
So hopefully that's not the case. And obviously, guys, like I said, we're experimenting. Things are going to look different for the next few days because I'm trying things, testing out different plugins and stuff. Really, I just want to multi-stream correctly. That was the big thing because I was paying for the other software that we can use, and then because I wanted to be able to put your guys' chats on the screen and just a lot of that stuff. And we're gonna make this a fucking sick ass live stream. Shout out to Tolino Channel for the super chat. Myra coming through. She goes, I thought it was Rey Fénix, and there's a photo on the internet of him that just looks like the close-up of the American-made masked luchador. You know, the funny thing is, I don't know. I think they did this as a rib to fans because
they did.
They made it very clear it's Chad Gable, and as you mentioned earlier with like the backstage thing with Chad Gable, right? They should actually lean into that until Rey Fénix's real debut happens. And when Rey Fénix's real debut happens, I feel like they should kind of, I don't know. I feel like they got to take some sort of shot at him, like at Chad Gable's thing, you know?
Yeah, they do. They have to do something with that because my word, people were so confused for a moment. Like it took people 1 second. Like everybody had like this second of being like, is that, you know?
Yeah.
Very funny. Very funny.
The thing with Penta's debut is they set the standard that this is a big deal. With Rey Fénix's, I don't know how it's going to be.
Right, because they haven't said anything. Nothing's really happened yet. You never know what can happen with WWE.
Kind of scary to think about. WWE either might prep his debut correctly, you know, or they might just have him randomly come out and make the save.
They could do that.
Or do you think maybe they do a triple threat tag team match?
See, I was actually thinking that to myself a little bit. I don't know. I don't. Because you could obviously do the New Day, you could do Dragon Lee and Rey Mysterio, and then you could do Penta and Fénix if you want to get Fénix back involved with Penta right away, and Penta, getting saved a little bit.
Yeah. It's interesting.
It is.
I definitely don't know which route they go with the tag team division, but it is something to talk about for sure. Shout out to Myra for the super chat. $9.99 coming from Phil. He says, is anyone getting bored with the Gunther Jay storyline? Gunther said that he would put Jay through 10 weeks of hell, and it seems like hell is a taste of insanity, doing the same thing over and over again. Phil, the only reason why I'm not bored with it is because I think it is really setting the stage that Gunther is just not a believer in Jay, and that's going to be his weakness. And when Gunther is not, when he kind of underestimates talent, that's when he loses, and that's why he has very few losses in WWE.
Yeah, because he did it to Sammy. Now, I will say, I do agree with Phil, though. I am kind of getting bored with it myself. But again, I think that's just the lengthiness of how much longer we have until WrestleMania as is. Because normally by now we really start to get like the big hype around WrestleMania. Like now is when things really start to pan out. We're kind of closing in on TV. We maybe got 2 weeks left. But instead, we still got another, 4 weeks, I think, in total up until WrestleMania. So there's still a lot of TV going on
Yeah.
and a lot of room to tell the stories.
Yeah, I feel like Gunther is definitely losing. And I
Yes,
honestly,
I do agree.
and I like the way they've kind of set the stage with it. Maybe it is getting repetitive. I can understand that aspect of it, but I think for Jey Uso in this particular case, when he gets that win, I mean, you guys see how the crowd is. Look at MSG, bro. I don't care what anybody says, but if you look at these crowds, it's
Dude, they love
literally
Jay.
people
They
love
love
Jay.
Jay.
So you have to give it to Jay. But then again, it goes back to what I've been saying for months. That Sammy heel turn is gonna be crazy.
Yeah, I think that's the shit that's gonna is gonna be smooth as butter.
Yeah, it's gonna be nice. It's gonna be nice. So shout out to Joe. Let me move that over here for the alerts. I just noticed that. Sorry about that. So now we got another super chat. Raymond K. Hessel dropping $9.99. Shout out to Raymond. He says, I just have to say, AEW doesn't have bangers. The matches look fake and sloppy. Listen, man, obviously I have my own opinions about AEW, and it just depends. You have to be specific. Because I do think, like, when I was watching Kyle Fletcher and Will Ospreay at Revolution, that's a goated match. A Spanish fly off the top of the cage, both guys going absolutely insane. I just got to be honest. I really genuinely believe that, like, some matches do have this issue where they're sloppy, and I do think they're a little too choreographed. But I'm not gonna hate on the I'm not gonna hate on it because not every match is like that. And by the way, some matches in WWE and in TNA look sloppy as well. So it's just the way it is.
I mean, that's just a preference thing. I think overall, I think AEW, like you said, Will Ospreay and Kyle Fletcher, like that was, to me, it was solid. I don't know, but people disagree, but I thought that shit was solid.
Yeah. Shout out to Raymond K. Hessel for the super chat. Myra coming through with a $9.99. I like the Heyman and Seth prediction. He's a menace as a heel, and he needs a breath of fresh character development. And I need a vignette of Heyman telling him to drop the stylist. Just imagine that, man. Just imagine
Okay,
Seth
brother,
finally
go
goes.
put on a suit.
Yeah, I'm tired of Seth Rollins wearing freaking high fashion bullshit, you know?
Right. Like Heyman's like, yeah, man, go put on a suit. You need one.
And I genuinely believe in this particular situation with the Heyman Seth angle, you now have something even bigger. Like, it makes Roman Reigns even more favorable babyface. And then you go back and revisit Punk and Rollins, and then you revisit, like, the World Heavyweight Championship feud in 2026 is Punk and Rollins, right? But it's going to be different because Punk will be that babyface and Rollins will have Paul Heyman. Like, I don't know. I just think it could be really fun. And that's what I want to see. Just something crazy, mind-blowing change.
Oh, dude, for sure.
Yeah. Shout out to Myra again for the $9.99. Bill coming through again with a $9.99. He says, Heyman always stands by his wise man. Until the favor of CM Punk cashes in the favor during the triple threat match, Heyman turns on his OTC and aligns with Punk. This starts the Punk-Roman feud for the summer. This is very, very logical, and it makes a lot of sense. But,
well, again, I think that goes back to the basic, right? I think that's something that we can all be like, oh, yeah, like that's for sure going to happen. We could see that playing out throughout the summer and, you know, stuff like that. But I think going back to what you said, Ango, is that if you want to swerve the audience and if you really want to make something shocking happen, and you could still get the Punk Roman feud throughout the summer, you still can with this, with your scenario. I really don't hate your scenario. Yeah. As much as I want to sit here and say, like, oh, yeah, they're going to go the basic route, I do not hate that. That was, man.
Well, they're being very real about the fact that they're planning change, and they're planning swerves, and there's a lot of it.
And also, if you think about it, the favor is in front of our face. I think WWE is going to let us know that kind of right away whenever the favor happens. Oh, did it pop up on the screen?
Yeah, you're good. Keep on.
Yeah. I've seen them pop up.
Actually, I think I have an idea. Let me see something really quick.
For sure.
Maybe now I have fixed it. So next time we get a super chat, I'll let you know if it pops up.
Okay, for
I
sure.
may have fixed it.
So going back for
Yeah.
a second, it's like I think that WWE is like I said, that favor is going to kind of be directly in our face, and they're just not going to tell us up until that moment. But I think overall, it could be something where Paul is like, "Oh, dude, no, absolutely not. Like, fuck this favor," kind of like you said there a moment ago. And I just, as much as I've sat here and wanted to be like, man, like, I think they're going to go the basic route. I would actually highly agree with you and say, like, no, they don't. I think they're going to do something completely different here and make it more fun rather than simple.
Yeah. I agree. Just a couple things I wanted to say. Shout out to those in TikTok. Eric, I see you. Eric the ENT. He just got the #1 gifter badge. I don't know what that means because I'm not really a TikToker.
That's cool.
That's cool. And shout out to Maiden, Malden, Homar. He says, is Malachi or Aleister Black joining the Judgment Day? I don't think so. And shout out to Mark Sands and Sean as well. Shout out to you guys in TikTok. I got to remind you that this is like the first real time I've actually been able to stream on TikTok like correctly. So I'm going to try to remember to look at it on my phone and shout outs and all that stuff. So
Do you want me to keep up with it? I can keep up with the TikTok.
Yeah, if you want to keep up with TikTok, I see Joseph Earl just joined. So shout out to Joseph. We're at like 700 likes on TikTok, guys. I don't know. Let's try to get to like 2,000 or some shit. I don't know.
Yeah,
we're gonna try to grow the TikTok, man. We're gonna try to grow the TikTok, and we'll be putting clips out there and stuff like that, and that'll be really cool.
I'm telling you, I've been on TikTok, dude. I love it. I love it. I love it.
Yeah, and somebody just sent a heart me. I don't know what that is. That's like a little gift or something.
Oh, that's my boy. That's Nate.
Nate, shout out to Nate. I don't
what
know
a
how
damn
that
guy.
works. I don't know how that works because with TikTok and YouTube, it's like different. We get super chats.
Yeah, I don't really know what the shit is. Maybe I'll spend a day looking all these things up.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. Sorry guys, not to bore you with this, but I told you, man, we're making changes to the Ango show live. It's gonna be a hell of an experience. If you guys liked it before, it's gonna get even a million times better.
We're gonna be everywhere, baby.
Yeah, this is gonna be we're gonna push this like nobody else. So let's get to 1,000 likes on TikTok and on YouTube. I mean, we're already killing it. So if you guys haven't liked the stream, go ahead and like it. Really quick, shout out to Phil for the super chat. Toledo Channel had dropped another super chat. He says, MSG, give Cody a 2012 Cena reaction, 2025 grown men chant, let's go Cena. Also, Truth to dress up as true Cena and win IC title that Cena couldn't. Toledo Channel, I love you, brother. You are amazing with your super chats. You are amazing with your support. You're amazing with your way to drive the conversation. However, I will say, our Truth should not dress up as true Cena. Our Truth should be serious and beat the fuck out of John Cena for the bullshit that John Cena just did. That's his childhood hero. So now he's got to go beat his ass.
Know it's going to go the other way.
Yeah, it's just,
It's going to be so devastating seeing our Truth get beat up. Oh, my God. I'm still not prepared.
The minute it happens, which, by the way, next week in Brussels, Belgium, we got John Cena and Cody under one roof. So that should be very, very interesting.
Yeah, the way they sold that was actually kind of hilarious. Like, oh, yeah, they're going to be under one roof.
Yeah.
Like, oh, man, not that.
It's going to be crazy.
Right, not under the same roof.
Live at 3 p.m. Eastern on Netflix.
Yeah, so are we going to do a live post show?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So you heard it here. We're going to be live for Raw, following Raw.
Yeah, I think so.
It's going to be a busy Monday.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Toledo Channel follows up with that with another 100 rupees. He says, how do you compare Andrew Schultz and Damaris Lewis segment from both nights? Schultz roasted Logan. Also, he was ready to take a bump. Yeah, so I'm a huge fan of Andrew Schultz. I went to his comedy tour in Canada, so I traveled for it a little bit. I personally think Andrew Schultz is a great podcaster. I think he's a great comedian. I think there's a lot of great things I could say about Andrew Schultz. I tweeted out, WWE knows how to give celebrities a mic in the ringside. That's the reality. Me and Billy talked about the AEW situation, and we were very, very clear. Like, it's not something that should happen, right? It definitely shouldn't happen by any means. But the problem is that it did happen, and it does reflect poorly on it. And I don't know who it was, so please forgive me if you're tuning in. There was somebody who tweeted it out, and it's basically like somebody going to another like a sporting event or whatever, and basically just like, yeah, this shit's boring. It's like the same
completely
thing.
shitting on it.
Yeah, you're just like shitting on it, you know. Andrew Schultz was the ultimate professional, and that's because him and WWE do have production meetings, and I think that's one thing that you just got to take into account. And it was cool that Andrew Schultz actually got dragged into the ring, you know.
Dude, yeah,
great segment.
Overall, like a great segment. I love seeing Andrew Schultz. I agree with Ango there. I'm actually a big Andrew Schultz fan. His new special just came out, and I still have yet to watch it. I got to go watch it. But overall, I mean, you could just tell like he was hyped to be there too. You know, we're here for the cage match, and you could tell when somebody's like kind of a fan versus like a real fan. And I think that comes with when he said the cage match. I was like, oh yeah, he doesn't watch all the time, but he's just excited for what he had seen on the card.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? So I thought that was pretty funny. But also him having that moment with AJ Styles in the ring, and him and Logan Paul overall. Obviously, if you guys don't know, there's a history there between those two, both podcasters, longtime friends.
Yeah.
It very simple shit. So having those two interact with one another is great. And the even cooler thing is like now in the podcast space, which has an audience that isn't just wrestling based, they can now talk about this, which gives more of a talking point for pro wrestling, because you have to understand Logan Paul, he's obviously turned his podcast into more of a wrestling show, but Andrew Schultz hasn't. Andrew Schultz, he's very in touch with pop culture.
Everything.
Everything that's going on, politics, whatever. This guy understands that, and now it just adds for more of a talking point for pro wrestling. And that's I think the difference there, you know, versus somebody going and yelling at this woman who for saying what she said, whatever. Instead, you have this talking point where obviously they had a production meeting, it went well, and you got magic out of it. And now it's going to be a talking point on the internet for the next week and a half, 2 weeks, and just building to WrestleMania even more.
And great way for for WWE and Andrew Schultz to have it become a thing where it's like Logan's supposed to call out AJ Styles, and then Andrew Schultz says that he's like excited to see AJ Styles, right? So when he says that, it sets a tone. When Andrew Schultz is about to get his ass beat, AJ Styles makes a save. Listen, never in a million years would I have ever thought I'd get excited about a Logan Paul versus AJ Styles match. But quite honestly, like it's the perfect way for AJ to get a good win at WrestleMania, and one where like a lot of people will be talking about it.
Yeah, I agree.
So I'm excited about that.
Dude. You never know. AJ could let Logan go over.
I don't know. Logan Paul, I mean, he gets a lot of hate, man, but this guy really does a good job with WWE. So
I don't care what nobody says, man. The guy is talented. I'll boo him strictly for the idea that it's like I know he's a bad guy and we're supposed to boo him. But overall, dude, I'm not gonna lie. I'm kind of a fan of Logan Paul.
Yeah, I'm with it. I'm good. Yeah. Shout out to Tolino Channel. Justin Kennington dropping $4.99. What about Punk versus Seth versus Roman winner is special ref for Cody versus Cena WWE title match? Justin, I appreciate the super chat. I appreciate your love. You're constantly supporting the stream, but kind of like to be honest with you, it's two different stories. They're gonna kind of intertwine a little bit, obviously, because of Cena's heel turn. But why would somebody want to be the special referee for Cody versus Cena?
It doesn't make sense. So you know, they're kind of two separate entities right now, to be quite honest with you guys. I understand that, like, obviously what happened in the chamber could potentially lead them to one another, but I think right now, kind of where we stand, they are completely separate entities. Now, if you want to have Cena win the title and you want to get maybe Punk and Cena involved later down the line, I think that's a really good scenario. I think you could do Punk and Cody down the line, but overall, right now, they are just not in the same realm or in the same world. They're just separate entities.
Yeah. One thing I will say, though, about this particular thing is that if my prediction comes true with Seth becoming a Paul Heyman guy, this gets Punk away from Roman and Seth for a little bit, and Punk could go help out Cody against The Rock and Cena. So there is that avenue that they go through. But like WWE does, everything's long term. Seeds are planted. Eventually, Punk goes and gets his revenge against both guys.
Yes, agreed.
Shout out to Justin Kennington for the $4.99. Jonathan Lazarga, he comes out with a $4.99 super chat. Off topic, calling in now. Hopefully I am right. Josh Alexander attacks Oba to set up for stand and deliver. Jonathan, I would love this so much, but it sounds like Josh Alexander is 100% a lock for AEW. From my understanding, I believe the deal is actually done. They're just looking at getting him in at some point. Now, who knows? You never know. Wrestling is weird, man. Wrestling is extremely weird. So
they could be saying one thing, another thing could happen tomorrow.
And we see that quite often in pro wrestling and in the IWC. So I'm not saying no. In fact, I would much rather see Josh Alexander in NXT. I will say, though, for tonight's NXT, it's at the theater of MSG. Oba versus Moose. I just think we get the faction, that new faction.
I think they're going to show up in some, and then obviously we're getting Julie and Stephanie. That'll be exciting. It looks like a good show. Yeah,
no, for sure, it definitely does. I'm excited for NXT tonight. NXT has been doing great stuff, so
agreed.
Can't complain there. Shout out to Jonathan for the super chat. Rick Corrales coming through with a 20 bomb. Shout out to Rick. He says, is Omos the new member of Judgment Day? I mean, there's listen, man, the new member of Judgment Day. I don't think there is a new member. I think they kind of want, I don't know.
You don't think there's a new member? I think there could be.
Well, I know it's not Aleister Black.
You know that for a fact.
Yeah, 100%. Aleister Black is not going to be on Raw. He's going to be on SmackDown. Zelina Vega's on SmackDown.
What if WWE swerves us and puts him on Raw?
No, it's not happening. It's just a fundamental thing that WWE stopped doing.
I want to see him on SmackDown. I think he'd work better on SmackDown right now.
There's no reason for him to join the Judgment Day.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. I think Omos is the new member.
Like dead ass? You being serious?
Yeah. No, I'm kidding.
Listen, I'm kidding. I miss Omos. They send him to Pro Wrestling Noah. He goes out there and he's killing it. I don't know why they can't.
Oh yeah, I see people in the chat. I'm the new member.
Billy
I haven't told anybody. Yeah, I haven't told anybody yet.
I don't know what they do with the new member, man. I genuinely don't know.
They call me Triple H. Hit my line. I'll be there.
Maybe call somebody up from NXT.
Yeah, they could do that.
What if it's not so much about getting a new member, but it's kicking members out?
And Finn gets kicked out?
Well, Finn is he's getting a high-profile singles push.
Mm-hmm.
That's happening. The Demon's coming back. Finn Balor is getting revived. They're going to save him. That's happening 100%.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The Demon's coming back for sure at some point.
So whether it's him running the Judgment Day and it's him, Dom, and JD and somebody else, I don't know. But
it'll be interesting.
Yeah. Shout out to Rick Corrales for the 20 bomb. No, sir, I don't think Omos is the new member of Judgment Day. However, I will say if they did add Omos to the Judgment Day, I ain't even gonna lie. Don't get pissed at me, guys. But I swear to God, I'm being so honest. I would not hate it because I want Omos on TV. So if he's just like the big muscle for the group, like, yeah, I'm down for it. I'm just saying.
Imagine Omos in like leather pants.
They just repackage him like crazy. I don't know.
Yeah.
Shout out to Rick Corrales for the 20. Anthony Cruz coming through. What software do you guys use to stream? Well, originally we were using Restream. Today, last night I was downloading a whole bunch of stuff within OBS. A lot of different plugins, a lot of different things that we can use for the chat to be integrated into the stream, designs and stuff. So obviously this is just a very basic design for those watching on YouTube, but we are multi-streaming between YouTube and TikTok. So we are gonna mess around with the design and have something a little bit more professional and very high quality and nice graphics and stuff. But I just want to make sure everything would work because the last time I tested it with OBS, and multi-streaming. We had so many issues. The live streams weren't working, where basically I was forced to go pay for that restream software. But the restream software caps off at a certain bit rate and all this bullshit. And so I'm using OBS, and then I'm using tons of different plugins and things, and we're gonna make it look a lot cleaner and nicer and sexier and more beautiful. But the goal is to integrate. Yeah, the goal is to integrate everything to make it an interactive show. You guys will see goals populate on the stream, goals, alerts. We have like the event thing right here. Anthony Cruz, thank you for your $2. I'm learning as we go, and the cool thing obviously is I have a vision for what I want this to turn into, and we want our clips everywhere. We want to be on TikTok everywhere and on Instagram everywhere. And we also want to help grow Billy's channel, so that use that as a reminder, guys. If you're not subscribed to Billy, you can at Billy TKO. I saw Boris said pay for StreamYard. I use StreamYard. We use StreamYard a lot. And the thing, StreamYard actually, so a lot of people don't know this, but StreamYard increased their prices, but didn't give me new features. So I was paying a very low rate for StreamYard for a long time for 1080p streaming. And
it was great.
Yeah, it was great. And then they honestly just kind of, I don't know, man. I feel like StreamYard led to some problems, and like I said, they increased the price. And when you increase the price and you don't give me new features, then I don't want to use it. And I think everybody uses StreamYard, so that
they jumped from like $20 to what, $50 or something like that. It was a hefty amount.
Bro, when I reached out to them, they told me the new rate was like 70 or 80.
Oh, jeez.
So yeah, crazy. Sorry, I didn't mean to do that. Shout out to Anthony Cruz for the super chat. Do I have any more super chats to get through? No, okay. I turned down the volume on the alerts, so hopefully we don't get anything crazy. I'm
gonna go back and watch the stream after just to hear it.
Yeah. Let's take a look at TikTok. Is anybody talking in the chat? Your buddy Nate says 3 p.m. on a Monday is wild. I'll be at work.
Yep, we got some people talking about Malachi Black in there. He said Malachi is enjoying the Judgment Day. He is going to SmackDown. So they agree with you. That's from Danny Huckins.
Shout out to Danny. Thank you. Yeah, I think I don't know how to explain it. It's the Aleister Black thing is, I mean, like I said, he's going to SmackDown, but the new member for Judgment Day, it's, who knows, man? Who knows what they have planned?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be really interesting to see.
Very interesting. Guys, we are absolutely killing it today on the live stream, so shout out to you guys. Billy, let me ask you a question based on Raw last night. Because I do feel like we're kind of in a weird spot with WWE, because we do have such a long time until WrestleMania. It's not really that long of a time, but it seems like there's a little bit more of a wait. Do you think WWE is going to hit us with more swerves in terms of championship title reigns changing before WrestleMania?
It depends. I mean, if we're talking big titles, no, I don't think so. I think the EO thing was like a one-time thing to really get to the point that they needed to with that match and really sell that. But if you're talking like the Intercontinental Championship, like, no, I don't think so. The World Championship, no, obviously. WWE Championship, no. It feels like right now with that final swerve with EO, it felt like that was like the only one that really needed a big shock. Other than that, I don't think anything needs to change until around WrestleMania, or at WrestleMania, excuse me. I think right now they're in a really comfortable position. Now, obviously, WWE, I could be completely talking out of my ass here, and WWE can completely change their minds. It'd be like, yeah, no, we're putting the WWE Championship on whoever. I don't think that's the case. But overall, no, I think we're pretty secure till WrestleMania.
I don't know. Part of me thinks that they're going to do maybe the tag titles drop. I don't know. See, this is where I'm so torn, bro. Like, what are we doing for War Raiders going into WrestleMania? And then what are we doing with possibly the Lucha Bros? And then obviously we can't forget about American Made, and then LWO, and then Kofi. And Like, I don't know what the fuck it is. That's like the one area of WWE Raw that I just have no idea, like, whatsoever, like, what to expect.
Yeah, I guess I kind of, dude. It's because we don't talk about them much, but you kind of forget about the tag titles. Again, like even the United States Championship, like you can defend that on SmackDown. I don't know what they'll do to lead that up into WrestleMania to make it exciting. I don't know if it's big enough right now to even get like a WrestleMania program unless you bring in somebody like a Malachi Black or a Ray Phoenix to really get me invested in something with that US title. But you know, you think about the tag titles on Raw and on SmackDown, those don't really have a lot of obviously you have the Creed brothers storyline with the War Raiders.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, I don't know if that feels like a WrestleMania feud. You know what I mean?
Well, it doesn't feel like a WrestleMania feud, Billy, because of the fact that they haven't really been building that level of caliber of tag team feuds, you know, for WrestleMania.
Yeah,
The tag
exactly.
team division and WWE and AEW just doesn't get love. So even when we did our Revolution review, it has gotten to a point where it's very clear you can have tag teams having matches and stuff, but there's got to be something there with layers and stuff, and they just don't do it. AEW and Triple H and Tony Khan, as far as that goes, fuck, bro, what are you guys doing, bro? Get your tag team wrestling better. Like, you have these great tag teams. You have an opportunity. You could do a fatal 4-way tag team championship match. You can do so many things, but you got to start building that up. And on SmackDown, they've actually already done that with Street Profits and Pretty Deadly and MCM.
Yeah,
and DIY.
The tag division over there looks real good.
Yeah, but on Raw, for some reason, it's just not. It's not being done.
Well, I think it's because number one, I mean, they're only going for 2 hours, so there's not a lot of room there for the tag division to necessarily fit. Because I mean, let's be real here. I know and we know that they have like more time, but they can just kind of go however long they want. But it looks like they found a comfortable spot around the 2.5 hour mark.
Yeah,
that they're just kind of continuously going for. But overall, like I think it's just a case of on SmackDown it runs a little bit longer, you get a little more time versus on Raw where there's not a lot of time.
But they don't have to have that problem because if they want to be a 3-hour show, they can. And I
Exactly.
I just want to point this out. Raw was never an issue under 3 hours with Triple H. SmackDown being 3 hours under Triple H is a problem for Triple H. So, you know, it's like kind of weird. I wish it kind of got fixed along the way. But I will say this too, because I know like this whole thing is like, when you look at Raw, okay, so for example, I know this is the one thing on the show that I didn't like as much. I didn't care for the match. Mm-hmm. I'm glad it took place. Like Raquel versus Bayley.
Because for the
number one contenders for the IC title, women's IC title. So that kind of made me excited because I was like, okay, there's an emphasis on the mid-card title again, like another week of where it's an emphasis. Cool. I'm glad. I'm happy about that. What I wasn't a fan of, though, and what really kind of bothered me is that, okay, you're doing that with the Women's Intercontinental Championship, and you're doing it now, obviously, with the Women's U.S. title on SmackDown, and you got Alba Fire involved with Chelsea Green.
Yeah.
But why is it that you can't find space to make a relevant program for the tag titles? And maybe this is WWE's way of saying just fucking wait for Ray Phoenix. Just wait for Ray Phoenix.
It could be. This could be WWE's way of just being like, all right, we're going to get there. Just give it a second.
Oh.
But who knows?
Pete Rocks, I'm going to throw your comment on here. Bayley should go to AEW with Mercedes. Pete, I've learned enough of you being in my chat that everybody should go to AEW. Everybody should watch AEW. Everybody should buy AEW merch. Everybody should buy AEW pay-per-views. Everybody should just live and breathe and die and sleep for AEW. But here's one thing I will tell you. And this is honestly me being so genuine. Bayley, there's nothing wrong with Bayley in WWE. She's completely fine in that company. And, you know, unfortunately, if AEW couldn't figure out how to make it work with Mercedes to be a top draw, then why the fuck would she go to AEW? And well, I know
I'm just going to be honest. As somebody who's been watching AEW, right, live, I can confidently say Bailey feels more important than Mercedes Moné.
100%.
Sorry. Hate to shit on everybody's bubble. If you're an AEW. Hey, listen, I'm rocking with AEW, man. I am. There's just, you have to be okay to critique. And there are some things here that just need to be critiqued, and that's just one of them. Yeah. Bailey naturally feels more important on WWE TV than Mercedes on AEW TV. Sorry.
The problem is you brought in Camille, you brought in Deonna Purrazzo, you brought in Megan Bailey, right. You brought in all these people. What has he done? What has Tony Khan done to make me believe that signing another big name is going to change anything? It's not. I'm sorry. And those who don't want to admit it are literally living in fucking La La Land. Stop living in La La Land. Stop living in this world where it's just AEW's fucking perfect, because honestly, that mindset is not helping the company. Even when I come out and say I enjoyed Revolution for the most part.
Yeah.
We're not gonna lie and sit here and be like, okay, like Mercedes and Momo Watanabe did not have this fucking outstanding thing where everybody's talking about it. So Mercedes' run in AEW has kind of been a fucking letdown. Adam Cole in AEW has been a letdown. We've had these conversations on streams, and it's like, I can still enjoy the show and praise the show, but also admit their faults. And unfortunately, I'm done getting excited. You guys want to know why I get excited about somebody leaving AEW and going to WWE? Because WWE's figured out a way to fucking do a great job with them. That's it. Yeah. Simple as that. So the problem is, like, people have gone to WWE, and what's happened? 3 of them got released because AEW couldn't figure out what to actually fucking do with them.
Right.
Adam Copeland. I love the guy. He's main eventing instead of Jay White. He's main eventing instead of Adam Cole. He's main eventing instead of Orange Cassidy. He's main eventing instead of, guys. It's problematic. I'm sorry. And we're not gonna sit here and bullshit just to have fucking popular opinions with the IWC. I'm not gonna do it. I'm not, because I'm so tired of this shit. Look at who joined this company, bro. You have Kazuchika Okada in AEW, and they couldn't find a fucking way to go off. They couldn't find a way to make Okada feel like the level of superstardom that he had in New Japan Pro Wrestling. I'm sorry, it's just not happening. It's not about bringing in names. It's about putting in the right product. And unfortunately for AEW, they had those big names. They had that draw. They had CM Punk. They had Cody Rhodes. They could have done some great things, and they do some great things from time to time, but I'm not going to sit here and act like Bailey should go to AEW. She's relevant on WWE television. She's a Triple H girl at heart. Bailey doesn't have a career without Triple H and NXT. And at the end of the day, the response is she should go to AEW. No, what AEW should do is create their next fucking Bailey.
Yeah. I mean, it's very simple. Very, very simple.
Polino Channel dropping 100 rupees. He says, off the topic, but what's your definition of a good feud storytelling payoff? My definition, Billy, actually, I'll let Billy go first because mine might be a long-winded answer.
Mine's actually a very short answer.
Yeah.
Roman and Cody. Yeah. Just go back to that. Just go watch the Bloodline storyline, mix it in with Roman and Cody. You get magic.
So the thing
is, if you can't define that, then that's your problem. I mean, maybe you just don't enjoy wrestling the same as me.
I don't disagree with you, because I think that's a great example. But my definition of a good feud, good storytelling, and good payoff is this. And I'm going to use short term. Billy used 4 years. I'm going to use 4 weeks.
Okay.
Let's say the cycle is 4 weeks until a pay-per-view, hypothetically, 4 to 6 weeks. A good feud is one that is consistently being pushed on TV each week in some fashion. It doesn't have to be an in-ring promo. It doesn't have to be a backstage segment. It doesn't have to be a match or a triple threat match or a tag team match leading to the payoff. But a good feud is a good guy and a good bad guy, right? And every single week there is continuity within that story that pushes it all the way to the payoff. Now, good storytelling is subjective. So to me, sometimes I want the bad guy to go over, and sometimes I want the good guy to go over. That's more of a personal thing based on who I'm watching, right? Like, for example, Shinsuke Nakamura holding the US title didn't really have a solid program. So when he fought LA Knight for the title again, I was kind of relieved that Nakamura dropped the belt. And the reason for that was because LA Knight is a good guy, and I like LA Knight, right? But if it was somebody else that maybe I don't care for as much, it obviously wouldn't have been good. So good storytelling is good or bad storytelling, it's subjective. But a good payoff to me is the one where they give you the person that you want to see win, whether that's a good guy or a bad guy. So, for example, the one thing I loved about CM Punk and Drew McIntyre's storyline was it was not a 4 to 6 week long storyline, but there was elements every single week where it kind of reminded you of how it started, how it's going, and what it's going to be. So it transitioned a couple times. So when people were like, "Oh, they're fighting over a friendship bracelet," that's really good way of shitting on something if you want to make it sound like shitting on something. But the meaning was much deeper than a friendship bracelet, right? So obviously the narrative in the IWC is, well, they're fighting over a friendship bracelet. No, look at how it started, look at how it's progressed, and now look at what it became. So for me, that's why my payoffs were like, okay, CM Punk wins. Okay, cool, great. But a good payoff is one where the person who loses doesn't get impacted by it. And that's one thing that never gets talked about.
Agreed.
Never gets talked about.
Love it.
Shout out to Tolino Channel for the 100 rupee donation. Thank you, brother. Right hand Cam coming through. He says Heyman will turn on Roman at WrestleMania after the triple threat. Right hand Cam has renewed the Job Squad membership for 26 effing months, dude.
Go.
26 effing months. So shout out to Right Hand Cam. I think, like I said earlier, guys, Heyman joining Seth Rollins.
Listen, I think it's very simple. I think Right Hand Cam here is onto something when he says Heyman will turn on Roman at WrestleMania. I think that is going to happen inevitably. I think that is going to be the route that they take no matter what. Whether it be he just joins Punk, whether it be he teams up with Seth, no matter what the case here is, I think we can all agree that after this, Roman no longer needs Heyman. He really doesn't.
Mm-mm.
You can let Roman go on his own. I think he's a big enough deal now to where he doesn't really need anybody, to be quite honest with you. Roman can go do his thing and just be great. Yeah. So, yeah, I think inevitably Paul is going to go do his thing with somebody else. I think Ango here, he made a very, very, very good point when it went down to the Seth Rollins thing, especially somebody who needs to be repackaged, I think. Mm-hmm. This would be a really good calling for Seth. As somebody who hasn't made me super excited over the last little while with the whole, the little antics and shit. I just think overall, no matter what, Heyman's gone from Roman.
Imagine in the next few weeks we start seeing CM Punk bringing it up more and more about this favor. Don't forget, Paul, you owe me a favor. Like he's almost like dangling it over his head.
That's going to be a big talking point after this.
For sure. Now imagine at WrestleMania, Paul Heyman looks at Punk and he says, "Fuck your favor," and then aligns with Rollins.
See, that will be great because then you can utilize and you can almost kind of pinpoint Punk as a bully. Like you bullied him out of this favor. You talked about it so much that it irritated him.
Yeah.
That's a good talking point.
That's a good talking point, man. It's possible.
Yeah.
Crazy, man. Shout out to Right Hand Cam being part of the Job Squad for 26 months. Appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much, dude. Tolino Channel following up with the super chat, 40 rupees. He says, your take on WWE bringing back Evolution PLE. Evolution PLE expected in the summer, all women's pay-per-view. I can't see how somebody in the right mind would actually be against this. It's for no other reason than the women's wrestling in WWE has progressed so much.
And especially having the mid-card titles and the tag titles now, you can actually make a pay-per-view out of this.
Yeah, and by the way, you have NXT and you have the best women's division in NXT. I can't see it's gonna sell out the Mohegan Sun. They'll do well. It's gonna be fucking banger. And listen, they have so many great women in this company, so This is where Triple H just has to knock it out of the park as far as a booker and a matchmaker. But dude, you got Jordan Grace in your company now. Like, by that time, some of these people should be called up. That's the time, bro. Hey, listen, people want to talk about women's main events at WrestleMania. You gotta show the world what you could do and draw, because at the end of the day, it's not just about, oh, good storyline. You gotta be a draw. You gotta be an X factor. And
you put asses in seats.
And there is women in WWE who can do that. So my personal
Ripley is a perfect example.
Exactly, Billy. Exactly. So yeah, for me personally, the way I look at this is so easy. It's a no-brainer to do it. And what would actually be really cool is if WWE does the Evolution pay-per-view, right? Bring back the Bella Twins. Let the Bella Twins go have a big feud for the women's tag titles. Bring back Trish Stratus and Lita. Bring back some of those women who couldn't afford those opportunities back in the day because they were great performers, but Vince McMahon was a bitch and didn't know how to book people. So, like, bring some of those talent back. Showcase some love for your legends. Bring Mickey James back. Build a big profile match, a singles match, non-title. It's important not just to have big feuds for a title, but also non-title. Exactly. I'm all about it. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I 100% support it. I think it's going to be massive.
I agree. It's going to be huge.
Shout out to Tolino Channel for the super chat. Guys, if you have any more super chats you want to get in, this is your chance. Ask your questions, make your comments, whatever it is, get them in now before we end the stream. So far, I feel like the reviews on this have been relatively good. A lot of people are saying it's working good. I know I was looking at YouTube for a second and that was working relatively well, which makes me excited. Billy, I can't wait to start designing some really sick ass shit, brother, because it's going to happen. We are going to have a great looking live show. And on top of that, not only is it going to be a great looking live show, but we are going to continue to keep it interactive and engaging across the board with everybody watching. And that makes me very, very excited.
This show is going to be the shit, man. I'm pumped for this. I think what we're doing here is amazing. I think everybody would agree with me. And it's only going to get better as time goes on.
Yeah, 100%.
I love it, man.
I'm so excited, man. Shout out to everybody. I think that's it, man. I don't think there's really much more to talk about.
No.
We're over an hour. Tomorrow we got NXT to talk about. It's going to be a very worthy NXT to talk about. Right hand Cam coming through with a late super chat. And he says, right hand Cam dropped a $5 super chat and he says, Punk isn't here to make friends. He's here to make money and win championships. He will stab in the front. Punk and Heyman will align with The Rock. So listen, we talked about this before, where that is a possibility. Where we had these conversations, but after Punk's promo on Raw, I don't know, right? When he made that promo the following day after Chamber, or that following Monday, he said he's going to go after them. So I don't know, man. I don't think right now. I mean,
I don't know. It's so hard to predict, right? Because you could say, like, oh, months down the line, there could be a potential of them joining one another or whatever after he goes after them. I don't know. I don't know right now.
Isn't that the best part about this? There's so many things you can do, bro.
There's so many different ways, different routes you can take. It's amazing. I think that's the cool part about just pro wrestling in general right now, is that, the avenues that people are creating and the swerves that we're getting and shit like that. I love it. I
don't know, man. Triple H they told us flat out, like, a lot of unpredictable things are happening. And hey, listen, I'm tired of Seth Rollins coming out in fucking dresses, bro. Pull up, black suit, black pants, black tie. Do it.
Yep.
Seth Rollins and Seth Rollins and Heyman joining. I don't understand how people could hate on this idea. But let's just backtrack for a second.
Yeah.
Punk, Roman, Seth, Night 1 WrestleMania triple threat match. Paul Heyman says to CM Punk, fuck your favor, right? He's done. He's tired of this. Roman Reigns has used him. Roman Reigns doesn't love him anymore. It's not genuine anymore. He's not stupid. Roman Reigns wasn't there when Paul Heyman got his ass beat by the Bloodline. Seth Rollins aligning with Paul Heyman is a swerve. Seth Rollins needs a character change. They end night 1 with Seth Rollins beating Roman and Punk. Now on night 2, you literally have Seth Rollins and Paul Heyman aligning with The Rock and John Cena. Okay, great. There's opportunities here now with Punk, Roman, and Cody versus Rock, Cena, and Rollins. We know that there's more coming, and we know that Seth Rollins needs a serious character change. So at the end of the day, why would you not have Seth Rollins align with Paul Heyman, become a Paul Heyman guy? This keeps the stories moving, and it trickles down into singles matches between Roman and Rollins, Punk and Roman eventually, right? But there's just so many things you can do here, and I love that.
You have a lot of avenues.
A lot of different ways to go about it. I'm just saying, I think it very well could happen. Seth and Heyman, no matter what, I think they leave WrestleMania as Paul Heyman, as a Paul Heyman guy.
Fair.
Shout out to Right Hand Cam for the $5 super chat. Brad Silberberg dropping a $5 donation. LA Knight defends against mystery opponent at Mania equals Alistair. 100% down for this. 100% down. In fact, what I would do is you could have LA Knight, who is a great baby face, cut a promo. You're not putting me on WrestleMania? I'm coming out.
You know, it's such an old trick in the book.
Yeah.
Right? It's so easy because we've seen it done so many times, but it works every time.
And it works. And it'll work for Aleister Black because people know who he is.
Absolutely. Exactly. Absolutely.
I'm definitely not opposed to this. I definitely think it's a good idea. I don't think that's what they will do. I think Aleister will debut beforehand, but
yeah, me too. I think he'll actually debut probably on the tour next week, if I'm being quite honest.
Being in Europe.
Because being in Europe and him obviously being from Europe and stuff.
Yeah.
He's from, or at least near Europe. He's from, is the Netherlands in Europe?
Yeah.
Oh no. I look really bad.
Why?
I look like a dummy.
The Netherlands is in Europe.
Yeah, I knew that. Okay.
Ow.
Yeah, I didn't know geography, guys. Sorry.
It's all good. Shout out to Brad Silberberg for the super chat. Appreciate you, man. Thank you. What a day, man. What a day. Raw was good, solid. Wasn't great, but it was good. It was solid. So that made me excited. And we'll see obviously what happens there. I feel like I missed a super chat.
We just tripping. Channel.
Okay, I don't see it. Where is it?
It's up there.
Okay, I see it, but now it's not allowing me to pull it up. Okay, so hey, we have our first technical issue.
At the end of the stream, too.
At the end of the stream, yeah. We made it like an hour, so let's see what's going on here.
Don't worry, guys. We're going to figure it out. It popped up on the screen.
Did it? As an alert, though, right?
Yeah, like at the top.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so it shows that Toledo channel super chatted, but it's not letting me pull it up. Let me see why. Okay, Toledo channel, I'm having a hard time pulling that one up, but I'm going to read it because I can see it. Toledo channel dropped a 40 rupee super chat. Is WWE making evolve the old ROH level? Kind of. No, not really. I think it's more.
No,
like
I think ROH. Yeah, ROH and Evolve seem like, even if you watch the two, just seem like two separate shows.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, dude, you tested in the chat.
Yeah, just testing it out. So, not sure why it's not pulling up his super chat. So I do apologize for that Toledo channel, but yeah, I just think it's more like FCW.
Yeah, agreed.
All right, guys.
That's all we got.
That's all we got. Shout out to everybody who pulled up in the chat. Shout out to everybody who dropped super chats and went off. Shout out to everybody watching on TikTok. Over 3,600 likes on TikTok. I don't know how that works, but it looks cool.
Yeah, it does. It looks really sweet. TikTok's it's awesome, man.
Yeah. So shout out to everybody on TikTok, and I saw some people gift some roses or something, or I don't know what that stuff
Yeah,
is, to be honest.
yeah, people just send gifts and stuff like that on TikTok.
Yeah, so shout out to you guys, and shout out to everybody who joined us today. We will be live tomorrow. We will be back tomorrow. We'll see what NXT brings. I'm excited
I just
for
want
NXT.
you to before we go, I just want you to know that K Saib J on TikTok, he said, "Gow, how? There we go. How did you guys get this as a setup? It looks insane."
Well,
So people are enjoying our look.
I appreciate it. Yeah, it looks a little bit different between YouTube and TikTok.
It does.
But obviously, you know, we want to be everywhere and we want to do that. And maybe tomorrow we'll even live stream on X and try to figure that out too. But I want to get everything designed the way I actually want. So we'll figure that out. And then, yeah, it'll be really, really, really cool. And I'm really excited about that. So shout out to everybody who joined us today. Follow me at Ango everywhere. And shout out to Billy at Billy TKO. If you guys aren't subscribed to him, that's a real shame. You really should be. And the Ango Show will be back tomorrow at 12 p.m. Eastern. We go live Monday through Friday, 12 p.m. Eastern. And we talk about wrestling and news and a whole bunch of other stuff. And shout out to you guys for driving the conversation forward. We will see you tomorrow. Peace.
Peace.